好，欢迎大家关注由中央广播电视总台财经节目中心主办的大型融媒体行动“走村直播看托”主题。我是记者宋华。
about the poverty alleviation. My name is Song Hua. You could also reach us through different platforms and apps. Today we are visiting the Tibet Autonomous Region, in which we could find a Nashi village from the Markam County. Here we have a very high altitude, which is a very good environment for the cultivation of the grapevine. And many workers and farmers are collecting the grapes. And we'd like to interview one farmer. What type of grape are you collecting? It's called the honey of the rose. It will be used for the brewing of the wine. What other varieties do you have? We also have the Cabernet and also the crystal type. And they could also be used for the brewing of the wine. How much time have you been here for the day? We started the work at 8 a.m. And it takes how much time for you to complete the harvesting of the whole field? It depends. Usually for a normal parcel, we could complete the harvest within 10 to 20 minutes. So we'd like to have a closer look at the grape. What is the specialty and the feature of this wine? Because I have done my homework, it is said that the wine from this grape will have a red color like the gemstone, and also it gives the fragrance of the rose. Thank you very much. Actually, in 2009, the whole village, people had only limited surface of 100 mu of plantation of grapevine. But later on, they have decided to build the whole local economy on the cultivation of the grapevine. Currently, they have more than 3,000 mu of the cultivation. And also some local enterprises for the brewing of the grapevine are also helping the farmers. This is Madam Xu Cuo, in charge of one of the enterprise. Could you please say something about the wine? We have 3 representatives here. Actually, we have 7 to 8 different types of wines. Here, we have the dry wine by collecting the grapes from the farmers. And we also doing the mixing of the plants. For example, this is a wine. It's a very sweet type made of the rose honey variety. And this is also a product from our science and research platform, because we have made the combination of 2 different varieties. It can be better adapted to local environment with the sunshine and also the humidity of the area. The degree usually, if it reaches 240, it's already satisfying. But now, as what we could tell from the statistics, it can have a degree of sweetness of more than 300. And also, we have a very distinct differences in temperature between day and night. So it's a very good product. And now it's already October. We could start to have the final product because all the majority of the harvesting season has been completed. And this wine can also give you very special taste. And you also have prize-winning wines. For example, this one has won a bronze medal and is also a representative of the Tibetan wine. It's the first time for us to present our wine in an international competition and first time for us to have a medal. And what about the others? This is a gold medal in 2017 in the Asian wine competition. This is a wine from 2014. This year means the year for the collection of the grapes. So this means that the wine is made of the grapes collected in 2014. 2014 is a very good year for the grapes. And this bottle of wine is the first of our product to win a medal in the Asian competition. And what about this box? There's a story behind this bottle. So the name is Forgotten. In our company, we have a long history of 11 years. We started as a small workshop, and then from the grape of 2011, we made this wine. And then in 2012, we expanded the size of the factory. And then in 2014, we have moved the size of the factory. And then during the demolition of our old factory, we have discovered the forgotten package of bottles, and this is one of it. And we have tasted the fragrance is so special. So we could find the wood taste, the fragrance of the wood. So dear viewers, this is a special bottle with a story behind. The name of the wine is Forgotten. What is the price of this bottle? It's a special version to memorize the year. So currently we only have hundreds of it. It's sold at 8,848, and because it's only limited version, so it's worth it. And also for good wines, it's hard to find. Usually you have to have a mixture of all good elements, for example, good weather, good environment, etc. So that's why today the wine is considered as an artwork. It could be used as a collection of art. We don't care how much is the price for the bottles, because every bottle would be considered as our children, because we have been watching the whole process from the plantation to the management of the growing, to the harvesting, and to the brewing process. You have to devote your whole heart into the process, otherwise you cannot have good quality of the wine. And you have devoted so much care and emotion into it. You also have to pay attention to the correct moment for the collection and harvesting of the grapes. And behind, there is also a story to support it. And here you have 100 more of plantation of the grapes. And after the establishment of your factory, you're also helping the farmers to get out of poverty. Yes, of course, the wine is a agro product, so we have our research basis. It can help to better present and express the local features of the terroir. It can help people outside this region to know our region. And we're also helping the farmers to make their home-brewed wine so that they could sell directly to the tourists coming for the leisure time. And we're also building up our brands. More people that have an intention to set up their own business, or there are also other investors interested, they will come to collaborate with us. And this is a very good source of income. For the 3 counties to the south part, the wine industry has become a local economic pillar for the local farmers. We have also invited the Director General of the Markam County. So how you are depending on the cultivation of the grapevines and also the winemaking to help the farmers. We have restructured agricultural sector here in this region. Now, the associations are working with the plantation basis and with the factories, as well as the farmers, so that we could make a complete chain of value and production to cover everyone in the circle. Starting by the plantation until the processing of the wine, we are connecting every section of the link, and we are spreading the risks. We are sharing the risks among us. And by doing that, we could help to increase the income of the farmers. What about the productivity? Currently, we have 11,000 mu of cultivation in the county. 5,000 of it are in large scale and another 6,000 separately in the farmer's household. And every year from the winemaking, we could have an income of 70 million RMB. There are many farmers covered in this program so that they have largely benefited from the program. Thank you very much. So after the harvesting of the grapes will be transported to the brewing factory. And now I'd like to give the floor to my friend, the local journalist.
好的，宋华，我现在所在的位置是西藏第一家葡萄酒种植生产企业。然后
Well, dear viewers, I'm now in the first brewing factory of wine in Tibet Autonomous Region. We have a long history of cultivation of the grapevines. I'm also a fan of the grapes. We have a long tradition and history of winemaking. Behind me, you could see that we have a lot of boxes of the grapes just collected or harvested by our farmers this morning, and they have transported this variety, the honey of the rose, until here. From distance, we could already tell a very fresh fragrance from this grape. And when I'm closer to it, I could also tell the rose perfume. And we could also tell the sweetness like the honey. So I'd like to have a bite. And this is also a green product, a very high quality agro product. I'd like to have a taste myself. So, as it's told, it's very sweet and it smells good. So how we would transform this fresh fruit into the wine, we have Mr. Zhang. So Mr. Zhang, how do we brew the wine? So I'd like to introduce the whole process to you. This is the variety called the rose honey. It has the fragrance of honey and rose at the same time. It will help us to brew a sweet type of wine. First of all, we will pour the grapes into the machine. This is a running bout. We will remove the leaves and also the branches, those parts that cannot go into the process of brewing. We will remove them by this step. And then this running bout, what is the role of that? It will help us to bring the grapes up to another pot. Why do we have to remove the other parts? Because when we add the leaves and all the branches of the grapes into the winemaking, it will not add up to the taste. Otherwise, it will even damage the taste. But we will not just throw them away. We will use it for the compost. So we have this special machine to separate the fruit from the leaves and the branches. And then we have another machine. This is to do the classification of the grapes. So inside this machine, we could separate the high quality grapes and the bad quality of the grapes. So for those already crushed grapes, we will eliminate them in this process. And here we have a vibrator. By using the vibration, we could separate the good ones from the bad ones. So here, the result is that we can have all the complete fruits and high quality grapes. We will use the high quality grapes to make the best wines. So for the good grapes and the bad grapes, their final product will vary so much in price. The good quality wine could be sold by hundreds of RMB per bottle. So we will go into the workshop to see the following steps of the making of the wine. And we could already smell the fermentation inside the factory, and we could see different tanks. So what are the roles played by the tanks? This is the big tank for the fermentation. For every tank, it's 75 tons of volume. And we have other tanks to reserve those semi-finished products. And we will also add the yeast inside after 24 hours of fermentation and supervision. We will use the pump, a micro pump, to change the tanks for the wine. And at the end of this fermentation period, the skin will be eliminated, will be separated from the liquid. In the market, we could see different types of wine. So how you could make that different kind of wines? We have different types of grapes in the first place. They have different degrees of sweetness, and we could also distinguish them from the degree of alcohol. And we can also see the age of the wine. The older, the better in quality. What about the duration of the fermentation? The longest could reach 10 years, but it's very rare, and the products are also very few in the markets. And for the good years and bad years, for the years with a lot of rainfall, it will be difficult for us to have great grapes. We have to run different tests before the filtering of the liquid. If it is qualified, then we could put it into the bottle and promote them in the market. So could we have a taste of it? Yes, I'd like to invite you to have a sip of the wine based on the honey of the roses. So this is a technician from our factory. This is Madam He. So she could share with us some techniques of the tasting of the wine.
像我们这种葡萄酒的话是什么时候酿的？
这个是19年的时候，19
So when did you make this wine? It's from 2019. We have mixed two varieties. It's a sweet type wine. As you know, we have different types of the wine. We have the dry, we have the semi-dry, and the semi-sweet and the sweet. What is the most popular kind of wine? The dry one is the most popular, but people could choose according to their preferences because everyone has different tastes. How do we taste the wine? First of all, you have to observe the wine. It's better to find a white color background. So it's a ruby red. So when you look at the surface, at the ring, it's more transparent, and that is the alcohol. So for the specialists, when they look at the wine, they could tell exactly which year is the wine made. Because for the specialists, they will just look at the ring of that surface. So how do we taste it? So we will follow the similar steps as a traditional Chinese doctor. We will watch it, observe it, and also we will try to sway the bottle in order to let the fragrance out. So could you please tell me what can you smell from the wine? I can smell the rose fragrance. We have combined the two different types of variety. So one is the honey of roses, so it will give us the fragrance of the rose and also the honey. And there's another variety combined in the fermentation, that is the crystal species. So it will give us the smell of the musk. And now we will have a small sip of the wine and try to roll that liquid in your mouth. So I could feel that it's a little bit unsmooth. And this unsmooth feeling comes from the tannin inside the wine. After tasting this wonderful wine, we also would like to show you other beautiful things here in this county. Now here we have the whole area for the drying of the salt. First of all, we have the salt fields by the side of the river, and they are in a race. This area has a total history of 1,300 years. In the past, people are relying on the making of the salt and also the sales of the salt to make some income. And nowadays, we are transforming the site into a tourist spot so that they could generate more income by inviting more visitors to see the salt wells and also the salt fields. And today we have invited one guide with us. So nowadays we have used more industrialized manners. For example, we have used the pumps to get the water. And now we also have some shelves here. We are now inside the salt wells, and we have used all those wood to support the platform. And this area, all those platforms have a 1,000 years of history. During the whole year, we will make the modification of these platforms. For example, all those are the salt. Every year we have to demolish this platform for 5 times. We have to repeat this whole process 5 times during the year because we have to wash the salt off the wood. And we are also walking up a very steep road, so we have to pay attention to the slippery road. And all those salt hanging down the columns, they are the crystallization. So I'd like to have a taste of it. Yeah, it's very strong, that taste from the salt. And this type of crystallization has only limited production volume. And we will use it to honor the temples. I have also noticed that by the side of the road, many farmers are selling the larger pieces of the crystallization of the salt to visitors. So these salt could also be used as a handcraft work. So we will take the stairs. So it's just a piece of wood, and we have cut the teeth of it. But why do we have soil here? We don't have the salt. Just now we have mentioned that we have to demolish 5 times the salt shells during the whole year for 5 times. So currently we are doing the reparation work. For this part, for example, we have to demolish the whole structure. And then for the whole month, we will be doing this, and it can take the whole month. So if you look at the whole picture, it's splendid. For some salt fields, we have the water, and for some others, you can see that it's dried up. For example, this part, we already have the crystallization of the salt, so it's ready to be harvested. So according to our guide, here we have a gentleman that has the traditional techniques passed from generation to generation. Could you please tell me how to harvest the crystallization? So first round we will collect the white salt, and the second round we will collect the rose one. So are we ready to go? Yes, of course. We also need some tools. So what do we call it? Just traditional tools. So tools invented by our ancestors that we have been using for thousands of years. So how do we use this? So we hold the tool like this, and we collect the salt together. First of all, we get them together. So for every piece of the land for the salt making, we have an owner. So every year we could have more than 1,000 kilos of the salt. How many times could you collect throughout the whole year? So from February to May, we could have collection every 10 days. Now in October, every 13 days, we could have one collection. And in winter, it's one collection per month. So that is great. Let's continue with the collection. So in some parts, because it's dried, totally dried, it's very hard, and it takes some efforts to collect all the salt. So what is the use of this salt? Because we could find that in this rose salt, it's not very pure, so how could we use it? We could use it for the preparation of the pork. And what about the white wine? The white wine could be used for direct consumption. We could directly put it into the vegetables. When you make dishes, you could directly add the white ones because it's totally pure. So now we have put the salt together. What could we do next step? Then we use the small broomstick to further collect some smaller particles. What about the following steps?
打它的用途又是干什么的？
推打好一点是推走了。
And afterwards, we have to knock on it.
为什么要进行这样的？
Could you please explain to us why we have to knock on it? Because we still have some water here. When we knock it, it's for the next round of the salt making. So when we start the next round, this part could be very clean. We have to knock it for 5 minutes. So 5 minutes for the whole parcel. And then we will use the pump to collect all the salty water. And we wait for another round. So that means in 10 days. What about this? In the past, when we didn't have the pump, we have to carry the water by our own. And it's made of leather. So when we don't have the pumps, we have to use the shoulder pole to carry the water from one place to another. Currently, we don't have any water inside, so it's okay for me. So how do I look? So you have 2 eyes, the nose, and the mouth. And also for the bucket, we use the decoration, different patterns to signify the front and the end. So please show us how do we use the shoulder pole to carry the 2 buckets. So for the front side, you have to use this part to face the front. Because in the old days, people have to come very early in the morning before the sunrise. So maybe they have to get up by 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. to come to the place for the preparation of the food. And this part is the wood. And for this part of wood, it can help us to reflect the light because in old days we don't have electricity. And we have noticed that we have some visitors. I have to go over there in order to have a chat with them. Hello, where are you from? We are from Xining. We took a ride by the National Road 214. We have visited the Qinghai Lake. And finally, we arrived in the Markam County. And what sites have you visited in Tibet Autonomous Region? So it's mainly the Markam County. So are you impressed by this salt field? I like it so much. And it's close to life. And it's the first site near the highway. So could you please say something more about this scenic spot? It has very beautiful scenery, and we could also have some experience of the collection of the salt with the local farmers. And here, I like this place. We have very beautiful salt fields. And here, the altitude is not that high. It's only 2,300 meters. And we also have sufficient life supplies. So after going back home, will you recommend this place to your friends and family members? Yes, of course. If you don't want to go too high in altitude, you could just come to this place in the Markam County. So thank you very much. Now I'm about to get back inside this field of the salt because we have a secretary of party here. As is mentioned before, in old days, the making of the salt was a pillar of the local economy, and today you have transformed the whole area into a scenic spot for the tourists. What differences have you noticed? Here we have the Tea Horse Road. It's the first station in the entry towards the Tibet Autonomous Region, and we are famous for the making of the salt. Nowadays, the whole county has been mobilized to make the salt. Half of the population is directly engaged in the making of the salt. We have 12 million RMB of income thanks to the tourism, and the added income for every local farmer is 5,000 RMB for the year. So in the past, only for the making of the salt, people have a limited production. And we also have the competitors in the market. That is the industrialized salt. So we are under the shock for more generation of income. For people that are relying on the making of the salts, they have an income of less than 2,000 RMB. That is quite little. And today, only 70 to 80 households totally relying on the making of the salt. The majority of the people have started a second business, that is tourism. So what is your future plan for the tourism development? According to the work arrangement from the higher authority, our Nashi village will continue to develop the tourism based on the fields of the salt. We will develop the infrastructure and also prepare the processing platforms so that we could offer more agro products while developing the whole area into a 5A scenic spot. So thank you very much. In this place, we have not only this salt field in the Tea Horse Road, we also have other agro-tourism activities. After admiring the beautiful scenic spots in the salt fields, we also have the agro-tourism. Today, more people are involved in this business. For example, now I'm in front of a very famous local agro-business spot. This lady is the owner of the house and of the agro-tourism. Welcome to our place. According to our tradition, we'd like to invite you to have a taste of our home-brewed wine. First of all, you have to worship the sky and then worship the land and worship the God, and then please have a taste. Thank you. So please take a seat inside. When you come for a tourism activity in the local household, we'd like to invite you to have a taste of the Highland barley wine. So in order to make the Highland barley wine, we are using so many ingredients. For example, the salt. The salt comes from that salt field. So this salt is different from the industrialized salt in the supermarket. So this is the oil, the butter. This is the Tibetan tea. So the tea is different from those in the supermarket. if you want to make the local buttermilk tea, you have to add these ingredients. And we have also very convenient express delivery service, so it's very easy for us to import some ingredients from other provinces. So this is the hot tea we have already prepared, and we have to make the mixture of all the ingredients. What is the proportion of all those ingredients? So first of all, we add some tea, and then we add up some salt, local product, and then the butter. So we need so much. With more butter, it can help to enhance the taste of the tea. So do we use the machine to make the tea even in old days? No, actually in the past we will use the traditional tools, for example, to use the buckets. But now we have the modern machines to help us to have more efficient making of the tea. So now I could take a cup of the tea. It smells very good. The homemade butter tea could give us a better taste. When you come to the Tibetan Autonomous Region, you have to take the butter tea. It can help to give you a very good feeling even in this high altitude area. And I also would like to show you around in our yard. This is our backyard. You have so many flowers here and trees, the vegetation. So when the visitors are here, they could collect some fruit by themselves and also some vegetables. So what are these? Those are the cows. I'll give them some food, some feed. Do they have names? His name is Tugatso. How much milk could it produce? Several kilos per day. Because every morning we'd like to have fresh milk. How much time have you kept it? 6 to 7 years. We also have kept the pigs. How do you feed the pigs? We have the corn and also the grass. Will you feed the corn directly to the pigs? No, we have to first of all turn them into the powder. So this is a very special species of the pigs. It's limited in size. It's very small size. Normally, we will only have 30 to 40 kilos per head. But if it goes beyond 50 kilos, it will be too fat. So the quality of the meat will be damaged. Here we have very good climate. Whatever you grow, it can have a very good growth. For example, here we have the nuts, the apples and jujus, etc. For example, this is the fig. So usually we take the dried fruit of the fig. It's very rare for us to see the fresh fruit. It smells really good and tastes very good, and it's very sweet. So this is the tree of the fig. The first time for me to see a real tree of fig. Because in normal time, we only notice the fruit without knowing the tree. This is the pomegranate. So this one is fully mature. It's sweet and acid. It's a local variety, and it can also help to cure the flu. And if you stay in the car for too much time, and you feel sick, and it's very good for you to take a bite of the pomegranate. And my mother is making the wine, the home-brewed wine, so I'd like to take you and have a look. Good morning. So you will directly put the grapes inside the bottle. First of all, for the jar, you have to clean it and then remove all the water. The jar has to be very dry and without any oil. And this is the black pearl. The black pearl is a local variety of the grapes. So we have to pick all the grapes. So for the home-brewed wine, you should not wash the fruit. You just pick them down and put every fruit inside the jar. You don't need any water. You don't add any extra water. When it's full, you have to cover the opening by this cloth. You have to wait for 5 to 6 months. By then you will have plenty of juice of the wine. So this is wine from last year. It has a very fruity smell. So now you must be very hungry. It's already lunchtime, so I'd like to show you some local dishes. So we have all the dishes prepared. So this is the wild mushrooms. And also the cucumbers. Cucumbers are also homegrown, just now in the backyard, you must have noticed. And also the pork.
感觉挺香的，肥而不腻。对，跟市面上的
Smells
还是有很大
very
的区别。
good.
果拉层的
And
农家乐
homemade
的这种
food
小吃
is
真的是很
always
有
more
特色，而
delicious
且
than
很
the
好吃。
supermarket food.
也受到了
Here, if you
游
come
客
for
们
the
的青睐。
agro-tourism
在
in the
纳
households
西
of
这
the
项的话
local farmers,
像
you
这种
could
农
have
家乐有
the
60多户，
experience of the local food.
大大
Here
提高
in
了他
our
们的收入，
area, we
大
have
概
60
年收入达700万
households
元。
providing the services of the agro-tourism. So after visiting the 1,000-year history of the salt fields, we are bringing this new place to you. For this activity, we have to say thank you to the China Life Insurance Company. In this moment, we are celebrating the 70 years anniversary of the liberation of the Chengdu area, and now in the square, we have two activities for the intangible cultural heritages. To the one side, people are dancing and singing, and to the other side, people are having bowls of noodles. If you come to the area, you have to have a bowl of jiajia noodle. So what is the story behind this jiajia noodle? We'd like to have a short conversation with this madam, the shop owner. What is the story behind the jiajia noodle? In ancient times, we have received a very high-rank official to the Nashi region, and the Nashi people were very clever, and they have made this jiajia noodle for that high-rank official, and saying that if you take the jiajia noodle, then you can have a long life, you can also have a very happy life. In the old days, people have only limited cereals and food. So they prepare the noodles. It's easier to make, and every family contributes some bowls. So in old days, the jiajia noodles are considered a symbol of the longevity and or happiness. And today, people have a better life here, so we have the ability to enjoy the jiajia noodle every day. So it's not only a specialty of the local food, but also a good gesture to show our hospitality to the people, to the visitors. So could you please give us a closer look at the noodles? So we'd like to take the noodles just made this morning. So it's freshly made noodles. We have used the local wheat to make this noodle. We have added the eggs and also some other ingredients. The outcome inside. The outcome is different from the normal outcome that we can see in the supermarket. It's from the local product. So this special adding ingredients can make our noodles more chewy and more delicious. So people are enjoying their jiajia noodles. What about the taste? Do you like it? How many bowls have you taken? I've taken several bowls. 15 bowls. Have you taken the jiajia noodles before? No, it's my first time. Where are you from? I'm from Chongqing. So they have little stones here. So every time you take a bowl, you will put a stone here, so it's for the counting of the bowls. And the price is already fixed. So for every serve, it's 30 RMB. We don't care how many bowls you will take, it's always 30 RMB. So you come here together for the tourism. What scenic spots have you visited? The salt fields, it's very impressive, and also people have a very good natural environment, and the people are very kind here. How much time will you spend in the following days? About 1 week. I need another pair of chopsticks. Apart from the noodles, what about the taste of the dishes? So this is the yak meat, and this is the brown meat. This is the local yak meat. This is the brown meat, and this is the wild mushroom. And for the wild mushroom, it's also very expensive. For half a kilo, it's already 300 RMB. For the jiajia noodle, we have to finish one mouthful.
它的这个面条是特别的筋斗的，然后里面我是可以看到有一些肉末。
So the noodles are chewy, and we could find the brown meat inside,
但是我觉得我这个食量估计最多吃3碗。
some onions inside.
所以你是里面加了咱们当地的千年盐。
So I think I can take 3 bowls.
甜里面的盐巴。
We have also added the salt from the 1,000-year history of the salt field. I've noticed that you are holding some other extra bowls. Because it's called jiajia noodles, and jiajia in Chinese language, it means to add something more. So in the jiajia noodles, we have to add up the noodles. So if you eat the jiajia noodle, we have to give you one bowl after another, and you have to finish it by one mouthful. So I will just take it as my lunch. It's really very delicious, these noodles. So the third bowl. So that is enough for me. I cannot have any more. So what is the significance of 3? The number 3 in the local tradition is for good luck. So if I put my chopsticks in this shape, this means that it's okay for me, so no more add up. So the stones, the cobbles are also used for the counting of the bowls. So if you take up to 60 bowls, you will receive the hada, and also you can enjoy the dances performed by the people. If you can reach 147 bowls of the noodles, then in the future you start to have the right to enjoy free noodles in this restaurant. People are also joking about the noodles. We say that the more you take, the more luck you can have. So let's move to this side. People are dancing. This is the dance of xianzi, and xianzi dance is also one of the intangible cultural heritage of the country. We have invited this expert of the xianzi dance. Could you please share with us the significance or the story behind the xianzi dance? This dance has a very long history. There are many stories behind. I learned from my father, and my father from my grandpa. In early days, because I didn't pay much attention to the dance, so I was not very good at the dance in the very beginning. Later, the government has encouraged people to carry on the old traditions, including the cultural forms like the dances and the songs. So we have started to keep up with this tradition. So what are the skills and tips for the 弦子 dance? I've noticed that for the gentlemen, they are playing the instrument, and for the ladies, they are dressed in beautiful clothes and they are dancing with the long sleeves. For all the festivals, we will give the performance of the 弦子 dance. And also in happy days, we will also dance this 弦子 dance. Do we have some rules to follow to dance the 弦子? You have to show respect to the old people. Thank you very much. Starting by the Tang dynasty, the local people in Markam County have started to perform the 弦子 dance. In the very beginning, we only have a very small size of performance. So they will give the performance within the family. And nowadays, gradually, they have absorbed the advantages and the features from other regions and other dances. So they have also enriched their own traditional cultures. And 弦子 dance of today has become an entertainment of daily life for the local people. And it's also a highlight of culture on the tea horse roads. And local people, they are enjoying their dances and also the music. So that is the end of today's live stream program. We really hope that you could come to this place to have some jiajia noodle, to have the local homemade wine, and also to enjoy the dance.
峡谷盆地，摆脱贫困，蝶变新生。